I would suggest, with it being backed up by the Lady of the Mirror, that you really need to examine, are you being individualistic enough, or are you being too individualistic, and therefore, in effect, cutting your nose off to spite your face. Hi, my name's Dee and welcome to Sunchild Tarot. Now this is a general reading for Virgo, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, North Node, Mars, whatever area of your chart you want to look at. And bear in mind, as I say on all my videos now, always watch your rising sign as well as your sun sign, or if anything, if you can only watch one, watch your rising sign. Now, if you're unfamiliar with your chart, there is a link in the description down below so that you can go get yourself a chart. All the information is down there that you need. Right, so being a general reading rules apply. They say roles can be reversed. Basically, that means that I may find the energy of somebody else and think it's you and vice versa. I'm not sure how often that happens. But more importantly, timing is not absolute. And it's a general reading. So it's there really, as any general reading on YouTube, it's there to confirm what you already know and to give you maybe a new perspective on what you already know. But if it sounds like it's not to do with you, then it's not to do with you. It's not your reading. Go and watch your moon. Go and watch your rising. You know, there's because you can only read for so many people. Now, housekeeping. There is also a link to the Facebook page for this group. You can contact me directly there. There is an inbox there if you're wanting to get a personal reading from me. And with this style of reading, you can ask a question first. So take a moment, think about all of the questions that are around you currently, focus upon one of them, but be aware of them all because the cards will answer what they want. But focus on one of them, and hopefully the energy that you put into that process I will give back to you in the form of a suitable, appropriate reading for you. If not, the universe will find a way to give you that energy back somehow. So I think that's everything. So as Philly D says in his channel, let's get into it. I'll bring up the cards. So I really want to draw your attention to a lot of the oracle cards here, because it strikes me, Virgo, that you are being tested. We have the Lady of the Mirror, who is very much about, from Wisdom of the Hidden Realms, that one, is very much about examining your motives and examining yourself with a sense of non-judgmentalism. It is taking the form of an honest appraisal of yourself. Now, that is also reinforced with Lilith from the Mausolea Oracle. Now in this deck, what she represents is hunger. So it says here, hunger, animalism and instinct. So again, the description for this card asks you to examine your motives. Now I would pick up, with it being Lilith, there's that drive for individualism, which may be good or may be bad, according to the circumstances that you're in. At the moment, I would suggest, with it being backed up by the Lady of the Mirror, that you really need to examine, are you being individualistic enough, or are you being too individualistic, and therefore, in effect, cutting your nose off to spite your face. Because the other thing that comes here, we have from the Angelarium, Cushiel, the angel of punishment, who pursues oath breakers. So there is an element of you need to keep your word. So I'm wondering if there's a question regarding a commitment that you are making. And I feel making because as how you feel here. Oh, now this is interesting. I didn't see the cards beneath it. We've got the Four of Wands, which, as you know, is a card of commitment and a card of celebration. So you're pleased about a commitment that you are considering, undergoing. However, at the same time, everything is falling to pieces because we have the Tower card underneath it. And underneath that, the Hanged Man, which is also on the bottom of the Gilded Tarot deck. The three tarots I've used today are the Gilded Tarot, the Spellcaster's Tarot, which is one of my favourites, and this month I was led to Tarot Z, which is a zombie tarot. On the bottom of that deck, we've got the Five of Wands. We've got a conflict, because I'm going to say conflict with this one, with it being the zombie tarot, rather than a debate. We have the conflict coming on. It's almost like there is a, well, you can see there's it's a zombie horde approaching, you know, so ain't nothing gonna stop it. So there is some form of confrontation that is coming from this commitment that you are making. Now, bear in mind, if you are making this commitment, or if you are deliberately not making this commitment, that in and of itself is a commitment. It is the commitment to not do it. So are you potentially breaking your word by making the commitment, or by not making the commitment? Because also we have the Choices card from the Oracle of the World of Night. Wisdom of the House of Night. And what this card is saying, that there's some stark choices ahead of you. The one question you need to ask is, what is for the highest good? Now, considering that we've already discussed the Lady of the Mirror and the Lilith card, have you agreed to get involved with something that probably not a great idea? Or have you been asked to get involved in something that you're not wanting to, but it would be a good idea? And if it's that latter, this is something that you've probably said you would help with anyway. Now, from the Oracle of Heaven and Hell, we have Chavakia with reconciliation, opposed to the Goetic spirit Marchosius with family conflicts. These are the astrological associations with these beings. And that would probably indicate this sense that I have of either, yes, I'm going to do this, and the rest of the world going, oh, or hell no, I'm not going to do this, and the rest of the world going, oh. You know, basically the rest of the world is going, oh. But especially when you've got family conflicts there, passions can run very, very high. And I'm going to stick with family conflicts rather than say that it could be work, or it could be, it's someone who, it's probably some form of conflict with someone who either is family or has been as family. And what is interesting is with that reconciliation with Chavakia, I'm seeing it link deliberately to this blue moon. And remember, it's a blue moon at the end of the month. Blue moon card, believe in the impossible. This is quite an important month for you. I wish I'd done this reading earlier now, but it's not without its challenges, as you are already aware, because various things are getting shaken down around you. The world's turned upside down, and you're not entirely sure which way is up and why you're seeing things in such a weird way. So it's all about this commitment. But this commitment, you can do the right thing regarding this commitment and keep your word with a little bit of creativity. And you may want to ask for some form of inspiration to come through with this. But if you think about the astrology at the moment, the Mars square Saturn, squares are things that can be resolved through creativity. And we've got this huge message with the guardian angel of creativity. Creative energy flows for me the more I choose to express my feelings. So there's an element here of whether you're going for this commitment or not. There is an element that you have to be honest about your feelings. You have to communicate those feelings. Now, this is backed up by this card from the Saints and Mystics. Florence Scovel Shinn with intuition. Now, there's what she was a writer. She was very much into the New Thought concept. She was very much, I mean, it's her work that, I can't say it's from her work, but she was big into affirmations. She was big into resolving internal conflicts by constantly using words, telling yourself the correct things to resolve whatever conflict it is that you have. You know, if you felt unloved as a child, there is the constant reminding of yourself that you are loved, and that you should go out of your way to make sure that you are loving yourself in a healthy and productive fashion. Let's have a look what because it's escaped my memory. She's not someone I'm hugely familiar with. So she was an American writer, artist and spiritual teacher, known for her books on metaphysical studies and philosophies. She immersed herself in the world of art, illustrations and the New Thought movement, which holds the perspective of an infinite intelligence inhabiting universally in all living things. Now, her authored works centre on the connection between the mind and spirit by enacting positive thought and verbal affirmations to affect and change one's life conditions, spiritually, mentally, emotionally and physically. Now, the fact that she's come up as well here on the associations with it, it says consciously, and this is the one I want to pick on because you get three: emotionally, spiritually or consciously. Consciously, Florence banishes negative blockages and repeating counterproductive thought forms created during early conditioning, even as early as childhood. She promotes clarity, optimism, confidence, self-responsibility, and the determination to take root within the mind to tackle the hardest of mental blocks. So Virgo, nice and easy month setting forward for you. But I will say the way it's manifesting, although you've got all these internal questions, and the way that other people say, other people seem to be changing their position quickly, and they are showing you their wounds. They are showing you where they have been hurt. They are showing you how they have been hurt. Now, if they're showing you, there's quite a chance that maybe they're showing you where you hurt them, which is something that on some levels they have to take responsibility for reacting in that way. But in other ways, you have to recognize and go, okay, yeah, I'm going to go out of my way to not hurt you like that again. But the other thing with that Nine of Wands that's there telling me is that they are willing to come to the end of the process and that you are very nearly there at the end of the process, which leads us on to this idea of the commitment. In the meantime, things are coming down around you and the world suddenly looks very, very different. Now, all this stems from, I'm going to go back to, now this is an interesting group of cards. So, King of Cups, Ten of Cups, starting with the Five of Cups. There was something that you lost that was a shock. You know, it ended up with a grief process, but that in and of itself led to a happier state of being and a happier state of life once you got over that grief process. Because it was something where you were called to, you've got to sort this out, you've got to let go of the grief, you've got to work on climbing out of, because look at what you have left. Remember, that is the message of the Five of Cups. Look at what you have left. So you started moving forward. Ace of Wands. You started moving forward on your healing, and you started moving forward on ways to elevate yourself through your own power. The Magician card here. Four of Swords, Ace of Wands. So yeah, there was a goal that was set, and you was like, yes, I'm going to go ahead. And the fact that you were making this effort was recognized, and you were using your intuition, although it was very much all your own work. Nine of Pentacles and the Hermit. You can't get two lonelier cards there. But what you was doing was recognized, and that you were creating some form of healing magic going forward. That's when things started changing and taking off. I assume there was something that you encountered through that recognition that scared the life out of you. You know, it brought up so many questions, anxieties, nightmares. It was almost like you were put on a defensive foot. You were put on a foot where you felt you were forced to be defensive, maybe even to get out of a situation with the Chariot card here. But it's almost like the situation itself, while you've been doing all this healing work and all this, yeah, I'm overcoming my loss, and I'm focusing on the future, and I'm working on myself, and I'm working on my own, and I recognize how far I've come. And then there was these two almost contradictory forces in your life pulling you away from all of that. I mean, the other thing is, I sometimes get with the Seven of Wands a meeting with your peers, but I don't really get it from this Tarot Z one. It's purely that level of defensiveness, of anger. So if there is a peer who turned up here, they were the herald of some chaos coming into your life. However, believe it or not, the world is opening up for you at the moment. Oh, yes, I mean, okay, you can't make this up. The World card, clarified by the World card, clarified by the Eight of Cups. There's something that you've been losing faith in, or something that you are called to lose faith in, and you need to make the choice. This is what is underlying the situation at the moment. You need to make the choice and either make that commitment or not make that commitment, because there is some love or some form of beautiful dream to move forward with coming into play, but you have to give up on an older dream to deal with that. But whatever happens, there is some form of heartbreak there, because if you give up on the old dream, there's heartbreak, there's yet another grief, there's yet another Five of Cups situation. But here with the Three of Swords, so it's even more intense on you. So if you make that commitment, there is a heartbreak involved because you've given up on something older. If you don't make that commitment, there's the heartbreak involved of not having made that commitment. But you are supported by friends around you, and you are moving forward at the moment. Your vision of what is coming into being is slowly clarifying, which is why you're in this Tower Hanged Man situation at the moment, because you have to decide one way or another. Are you going to go for this new thing that's on offer and abandon an old dream? Or are you going to stick with this old dream and, to be honest, the way I'm seeing it, lose the opportunity that this new dream is giving you? Because things are going to be moving fast soon enough. Things are going to be moving, things are going to be moving very, very fast. And I feel that there is some form of, well, I want to say there's some form of wish fulfillment, but it's some form of wisdom coming in, some form of answers that come in. If you accept the answers that you have wanted, answers that you have been after, answers that you've desired, because the Star card is a wish fulfillment card, although I can't really see where it's starting. Okay, so now we're back. So as I was saying, there is the Star card. There's no star on here, but it is still the Star card. There is still that idea of information coming down from on high, especially with that card, with the way that the zombie is just staring. But the Star card can answer a bit of wish fulfillment. But this Two of Wands here says about the guidance from that little bird that to this merchant or whoever he is here. That again, that sense of information coming down from on high through the birds, enabling you to plan to move forward, because you're going to need a plan, because things are going to be changing around you really fast. But you will be coming to a point of emotional resolution where you are happy with what's left. So answering all those questions that the oracle cards were saying, it leaves you in a space where you are happy with what's left, and you are willing to accept the change that comes with it, because these are two hooded figures. So I'm going to say for this reading specifically, the Five of Cups there, who's holding the cups, that's both you and death. You know, because you're saying, right, these are the things that are going to change. Forget the rest. It doesn't matter. But these I'm taking with me. Now, that does lead to some form of conflict or diving into conflict where you win. Where you are able to... this is always a very victorious Five of Swords. So I don't always see conflict with this particular Five of Swords. It's more the spoils of war. Did I say Five of Spores there? Five of Swords, sorry. It's more the spoils of war. It's more the look at what I've salvaged, look at what I've found, look how I've won. But again, I have to ask you to check your motivations with whatever it is that you are winning there. I'm hoping that you are winning for the good of all, for the universal good. Because you are certainly using your power, and in a grounded effect that will last, that will actually affect the 3D reality. This is no internal emotionscape. This is your day-to-day life, job, family situation, whatever. Now, a potential future. If you accept the change, it will be a healing process as long as you are devoting yourself to, through more traditional methods, mind, the higher ideal. Now, these are pretty much saying exactly the same thing, because the Page of Wands, I can't tell whether this is an alternative to that or is the same, because it's the same message. Information coming forward to you, you going forward tentatively to exert your own power, and justice comes into effect. So again, check your motivations that they're right, because if your motivations are on the up and up, you'll be fine and you will benefit from that. But at the moment, it just seems like there is stress. There is stress that you're not sure that you have. You're not sure how much more you can lose. Five of Cups again. So there's all three Five of Cups in this reading. And you are concerned that whether everything that you have gathered together is enough to weather the oncoming storm, to be quite honest. And that's what I'm getting from the way that this Empress is turning around and looking rather dodgily at the bull. Fixed earth energy, the bull. You know, it's once that is in motion, there ain't no stopping it. Once it is at rest, there ain't no moving it neither. So at rest, I think, is where you want it to be, but is it going to remain so? But for the actual future is really nice. There is an Queen of Pentacles, Queen of Cups, Nine of Pentacles. So that Nine of Pentacles shows a sense of rebirth, as well as the working on your own. So there is like that solitary aspect, so maybe you don't take this commitment, I don't know. But Queen of Pentacles, Queen of Cups, you are ending up in a nurturing space. There is something where you are nurturing it into being, because I love this Queen of Cups on the Spellcasters Tarot, because that cup that she's running her finger around is, so let me grab my mug. So here's my cup, here's my dream, and you haven't seen all of its inner workings yet. You haven't seen the wonderful things that are going to spring out of this dream, and I will use it when the time is right. And I feel that that is part of what is coming in on the underneath of your situation right now. This Ace of Cups here is some ball that you can grab and run with, to completely mix metaphors. You can run with that ball to make it something that will be that will enact phenomenal change, phenomenal growth, or just something really beautiful. However, you don't get to enact that dream during this process, and you are left with that you are being tested right now, I think is the best way I can sum that up. But all in all, that's a really nice reading. But whatever this commitment is, you must keep your word. And your word, if this commitment is running contrary to the word that you've given, there is a way for you to do both. And if this commitment is, well, if your commitment is in line with what you need to be, to parcels, if your commitment is in line with your word, all well and good. But if not keeping, that's what I was going to say, that is the parcels distracted me. If not doing the commitment is against your word, there is still a way to keep your word, even if you don't get committed to something or other, whatever it is. So I hope that makes sense for you, Virgo. If it does, please do comment down below, so I know I'm just not chatting a load of nonsense to the camera. Obviously, like, share, subscribe, all that good YouTube, Google Politics stuff, if you would, I'd be grateful. And when I finish the zodiac readings, then your Chinese zodiacs will be the next ones that I'm working on. So at this rate, probably sort of next week, the Chinese zodiacs will come out, I think. All right. Good luck, Virgo. And like I say, be careful. Cheers.